Marge Gale. Is Cushmore, Broad, agus Honor More do. Falcha her Roath and Shaw in you go relic crock an hour. Tamin Shaw, Hun, Harkion, Breakerhis, Public Panic na Heron. Le Kivnahan, agus Temas Walyahan a Kalian Shaw, Le Kivnahan a Yanu, agus Honor a Horch, don the Lakra a Four Blas, Son Shearshach na Heron, Area Mach na Casca, Newgate sa Shagade. Shahid, Tomas O'Cleary, Sean McDermott, Padraig McPirish, Seamus O'Connell, Tomas McDonagh, Eamon Kent, Eamon O'Daly, Shane Houston, Michael O'Mallon, Shane McGillivregia, Michael O'Hanrahan, agus Liam McPirish. Tá si de le curtha an seo, agus tá an seo inniu le buíochas a hort dan na fáis sin. So I want to welcome you all here today. I'm very honoured to be here on behalf of the Irish Republican Brotherhood to welcome you all here to the occasion of the Flags of the Fallen ceremony. We are here in Arbour Hill Cemetery to give thanks and to honour and to commemorate our Republican heroes who died after Éirí na Mach na Casca, the Easter Rising in 1916. And we're here from every part of Ireland coming together in common cause to remember these men and to pledge ourselves to do what we can to fulfil their pledge written in the Proclamation of the Republic. And they are Tomas O'Cleary, Sean McDermott, Padraig Pearse, James Connolly, Thomas McDonagh, Eamon Kent, Edward Daly, Shane Houston, Michael Mallon, John McBride, Michael O'Hanrahan, and Liam Willie Pearse. So it's wonderful to be here, and as I say, we have a programme to get through here. So without further ado, I want first of all to give thanks to our Piper Eamon for the lovely introduction that he gave us, as only an Irish Uilleann Piper can. And we see here in front of us the flag of our Republic. And as I say, as we all know, the people who are here today, the outworking of the proclamation and the sovereignty of the Irish Republic on behalf of her people is very much work in progress, and we rededicate ourselves to that today. So now we have, I think, Kevin, Howard, beg your pardon, Howard is going to come and read the Proclamation of the Republic for us. So, Gurmaha to Howard.
Public na Héireann, the Provisional Government of the Irish Republic. To the people of Ireland, Irish men and Irish women, in the name of God and of the dead generations from which she receives her old tradition of nationhood, Ireland, through us, summons her children to her flag and strikes for her freedom. Having organised and trained her manhood through her secret revolutionary organisation, the Irish Republican Brotherhood, and through her open military organisations, the Irish Volunteers and the Irish Citizen Army, having patiently perfected her discipline, having resolutely waited for the right moment to reveal itself, she now seizes that moment and, supported by her exiled children in America and by gallant allies in Europe, but relying in the first on her own strength, she strikes in full confidence of victory. We declare the right of the people of Ireland to the ownership of Ireland and to the unfettered control of Irish destinies to be sovereign and indefeasible. The long usurpation of that right by a foreign people and government has not extinguished the right, nor can it ever be extinguished, except through the destruction of the Irish people. In every generation, the Irish people have asserted their right to national freedom and sovereignty. 6 times during the past 300 years, they have asserted it in arms. Standing on that fundamental right and again asserting it in arms in the face of the world, we hereby proclaim the Irish Republic as a sovereign, independent state. And we pledge our lives and the lives of our comrades in arms to the cause of its freedom and its welfare and of its exaltation among the nations. The Irish Republic is entitled to and hereby claims the allegiance of every Irish man and Irish woman. The Republic guarantees religious and civil liberty, equal rights and equal opportunities to all its citizens, and declares its resolve to pursue the happiness and prosperity of the whole nation and of all its parts, cherishing all the children of the nation equally, and oblivious to the differences carefully fostered by an alien government, which have divided a minority from the majority in the past. Until our arms have brought the opportune moment for the establishment of a permanent national government, representative of the whole people of Ireland, and elected by the suffrages of all her men and women, the provisional government, hereby constituted, will administer the civil and military affairs of the Republic in trust for the people. We place the cause of the Irish Republic under the protection of the Most High God, whose blessing we evoke upon our arms, and we pray that no one who serves that cause will dishonour it by cowardice, inhumanity, or rapine. This supreme hour, the Irish nation must, by its valour and discipline, and by the readiness of its children to sacrifice themselves for the common good, prove itself worthy of the august destiny to which it is called. Signed on behalf of the Provisional Government, Thomas J. Clark, Sean McDermott, P.H. Pearce, James Connolly, Thomas McDonough, Eamon Cant, and Joseph
And now I'd like to welcome John Caulfield, who's going to read us a poem which he wrote himself. So the bards are still among us. Thank you, John.
Thanks very much, Anne. This is a poem which I wrote maybe, I think it was towards last summer, and I suppose essentially in retrospect it's quite simply about trying to raise the consciousness of this very special, privileged and sacred land in which we're on. It's my first ever time actually reading it without having read it, so please bear with me if I make any mistake, and it's entitled Saoirse, which is the Irish for freedom. You've got to ask, why the relentless persecution of the most rudimentary facets of our being? Our mind and autonomous spirit stripped and shredded. A plethora of tools acquiescing the masses. Cajoling and cultivating obedience personified. Their financial might enables, yet paradoxically and ideologically refutes such measures. What is their self-actualization? A master race? A one-world government? Fear of revolution? Theories persist, but certainty evades. Evil acclimates amongst those ambivalent and abhorrent, those complicit and compliant, those afraid of parish and persecution. Our purpose is emancipating mental slavery, seeking a semblance of salvation which is shrouded in skullduggery. But the indomitable spirit of vicarious virtue is translucent. An energy will awaken and alert your soul. A primal instinct of survival will collapse the old age and catapult the new. No, not normality as once was known, but a society of justice and joy, esoteric but no less equal. On this land, there will be a rapturous outpouring of reverence for humanity. A call has been placed, a mission preordained and prescribed, a fight you didn't know you were chosen to fight. Think of your pain as a preparation to be brave and bold. You can't articulate why you're here, yet you'll know what you have to do. An intuition illuminates your soul, an instinct to infer good over evil. Stand tall, stand proud, and stand out from the crowd. Thank you very much.
Agus inis chum fáilte rih caiithirlach Bríochracha Public Tána na Héireann, Sean O'Flanagan, John Flanagan, the chairman of the Irish Republican Brotherhood, will give an address. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Anne. Today, Saturday, May 14, 2022, marks our inaugural Flags for Our Fallen ceremony at Arbour Hill. A flag represents an idea or an ideal. It is neither a mere piece of decoration nor an object to be honoured for itself. It is honoured for what it represents. Many flags are held in high esteem for their history, for the sacrifices made by the people, and for the qualities for which the nation and the people stand. The Irish Republican Brotherhood, the IRB, embraced three particular flags for the nation and the people of Ireland. These three flags are called Banva, Fola and Éire, the three poetic names for the island of Ireland, and they are sailed in harmony with the tricolour of our nation. Banva represents strength and endurance, and it is flown defiantly at full mast alongside our tricolour at our general headquarters 364 days of the year. It flies at half mast on August 22nd each year on the anniversary of the death of Michael Collins. Fola represents culture and tradition. It sits in abeyance at our general head office alongside our tricolour until both can travel together with us on our ceremonial occasions, such as Independence Day on January 21st, March 17th, the day that the IRB was formed, and Easter Monday to mark the commencement of the Easter Rising, and today for our Flags for Our Fallen ceremony. Éire, as we have seen, is infused with our tricolour and represents eternal life. It is laid out for the first time today on the mass grave of our fallen heroes of 1916. The double-sided nature of this flag is significant and symbolic, as it represents not only the sun going down on the life, but also how the insurmountable spirit faces the rising sun. The 14 men interred in this mass grave before us all: Padraig Pearse, Thomas McDonagh and Tom Clark, Edward Daly, Michael O'Hanrahan, Willie Pearse and Joseph Mary Plunkett, John McBride, Eamon Kent, Michael Madden, Sean Houston and Con Colbert, James Connolly and Sean McDermott, along with Thomas Kent and Roger Caston at that time, all give their lives for the sake of freedom for Ireland. There have been many others, lest we forget, that have also given their lives in the cause, so that other men and women and their children may live freely. William Henry, in his book, Eamon Kant's Supreme Sacrifice, lists a further 60 Irish volunteers killed during and as a result of the Easter Rebellion. So what was the effect of all of this great sacrifice, you may well ask? It is a fair question. What did all of this achieve? The outcome is something that is not commonly known to us all. A 32-county All-Ireland general election was called on by the King of England. And in December 1918, the good people of Ireland voted overwhelmingly for an independent, sovereign government for the sovereign Republic of Éire. The consequence, ladies and gentlemen, is that on January 21st, 1919, Dáil Éireann and the Dáil Éireann Courts, our sovereign constitution and our Declaration of Independence, through the foundation of our 1916 proclamation, were all adopted in keeping with international law. Now, the King mustn't have been happy with this outcome, as the Crown forces went again to divide and conquer the people and the nation of Ireland. We are presented with the concept of a treaty, a so-called treaty that was entered into under duress and the threat of imminent war on the people and the nation of Ireland, if it was not signed. What choice did the Irish delegation have in those circumstances? I would suggest they had no choice, absence choice. And we must therefore question the lawfulness of any such document. It was allegedly signed on the 6th of December 1921, and historians tell us that a 100-year lease on the governance of Ireland was put in place subsequently. I can't say for certain that there was any 100-year lease. I have not seen it. But unless I'm mistaken with my math, there can be no argument that any such lease would now be expired since December 5th, 2021. There is certainly no suggestion of another lease, as far as I'm aware. Notwithstanding all of that, the claim over the sovereign territory and nation of Ireland, for and on behalf of the people of Ireland, has been maintained each and every year by the Irish Republican Brotherhood since 1919. Every single year for the last 103 years and counting. The current president of the Irish Republican Brotherhood, William James Maguire, better known to us all as Billy, has for more than half of those 103 years practically single-handedly sustained and maintained the claim over the sovereign territory of Éire for the sovereign people of Éire. He has done this selflessly and altruistically, and was at times over the years attacked and almost ridiculed for his efforts. Every single year of his tenure as sovereign president of the Irish Republican Brotherhood and the sovereign Republic of Éire. Had he not done this, ladies and gentlemen, then I suggest to you that we would not be in such a solid and enabled position to defend our nation and its treasures. Each year on January 21st, Billy commits the claim to paper on behalf of the Irish people, and he affixes the sovereign seal to each claim, as is his right, to endorse the claim on our behalf. On his wishes and at his directive, our 1916 proclamation and our 1919 constitution, two lawfully extant documents which further serve to cement the right of the people of Ireland to the land of Ireland, are promulgated at our ceremonial events throughout the year. William James Maguire, our President, has been relentless in the cause for sovereignty for all of Ireland, and we owe him our gratitude. Our President, due to unforeseen circumstances, could not be with us here today. Our Vice President, perhaps under a more predictable set of circumstances, could also not make it here today. She would dearly love to be here. We all know far too well how easy it is for others to throw stones at us when we raise our head above the parapet and cry freedom. Well, they can throw stones at this woman. They may insult her, and they may publish slanderous articles in an attempt to discredit her. It will make no difference. This woman has an indomitable spirit. She will never stop fighting for Ireland and for what she knows to be right. Professor Dolores Cahill, we salute your bravery, and I and we are honoured to call you our Vice President. Since becoming chairman of the Supreme Council of the IRB, many people have come to me and asked, what are the IRB doing? Or what are the IRB going to do for the Irish people? And I say to them, look first of all at what the IRB have already done for Ireland, for the Irish people. Were it not for the great IRB men of the past, we would have no proclamation of 1916. We would have no 1919 Declaration of Independence. We would have no 1919 Sovereign Constitution. And these documents are as lawful today as they were when they were first adopted. They are solemn documents for the Irish people to use for their benefit. They are not just historical and ceremonial documents. We must step into our sovereignty. We must claim and own our independence. To quote our president, it's your sovereignty, and if you haven't sovereignty, you're a slave. The flags for our fallen ceremony is to honour all those great Irish people that have fallen in the fight for Irish freedom and sovereignty. Those that have fallen in and as a result of the Easter Rising. Those that have fallen in the cause before and after the Easter Rising. Men, women and children, both at home and abroad. Those that have died on hunger strike, and those that have died from hunger because their food was stolen from them at gunpoint to feed Crown globalisation. It has been a monumental struggle for those that have invested their lives in the cause. And a quote from Bobby Sands perhaps sums up the embodiment of such a warrior. I may die, but the Republic of 1916 will never die. Onwards to the Republic and liberation of our people. All of these warriors deserve our recognition, our gratitude, our respect and our prayers. And I would ask you all now to stand proud and join me in a prayer for their eternal souls. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory, forever and ever. For the knowledge of the Spirit is for the unity of the Father. For the freedom of the actions is with the knowledge of truth. For the protection of the earth is for the life of the people. For the knowledge of the Father is with the protection for the people. Thank you all for listening. It's been my pleasure and honour to reveal an honour to the from the air and the time.
There's certainly food for thought for all of us there. I'd like you now, if you would, to stand for one minute in silence and remembrance. Thank you. So now we'll welcome Stephen Delaney, who's going to read the Declaration of Clonmacnoise, which is a solemn pledge which our young men have taken upon themselves in these strange times that we live in. So thank you.
The Declaration of Clonmacnoise. In the name of God, and with righteous and benevolent intent, we speak on matters unfolding. In defence of Irish nationhood, we, the people of Ireland, solemnly declare that we will stand in defence of our nation against the age-old monolithic conspiracy, which has designs on all nations. Heinous atrocities are being inflicted on the people. The global network of intertwined fraternal orders aims to divide and conquer through fear-based propaganda, tyrannical consolidation of power, contemptuous governance, genocide, menticide, isolation, and the destruction of the family unit. They endeavour to achieve their goals. Under the stimulus of these truculent techniques, the people of Ireland have been deceived, and so aided the enemy unknowingly in damaging the integrity of this glorious nation. The accumulated knowledge and wisdom of humanity is being incrementally replaced by a dogmatic and ideological belief in the unnatural. All logical reasoning and common sense have been usurped by the folly of crowds. And amid this culture of fear, the hostile network is motivated to erode and expunge the sovereign rights of all living men and women. In this hour of chaos and despair in our nation's history, we remind the people of our Constitution. The Irish nation affirms its inalienable, indefeasible and sovereign right to choose its own form of government, to determine its relations with other nations, and to develop its life, political, economic and cultural, in accordance with its own genius and traditions. The nation and the rights of its people are inalienable and impregnable to the mechanisms of the state. Legislation or regulation that is repugnant imposes a solemn duty on the people to defend the nation from tyranny and treason. No government has the autonomy to impose on the people of Ireland any amendment to the Constitution, which is antithetical to the spirit of natural law. We, the people of the Irish nation, declare that we will never tolerate any wrongful, unjust or unlawful incursions on our freedom. We cease all recognition of authority by any entity that infringes upon the rights of the people. The tyrannical onslaught of totalitarianism has enkindled the flames of defiance within us. We will expose the conspirators and their crimes and ensure that justice is served. Should the courts fail in their bounden duty, then the course of justice remains in the hands of the people of this nation. It is not for glory, nor honours, nor riches that we declare, but for freedom and the destination of our future generations, which we dedicate our lives. The conspirators have forced their hand. The betrayal of the nation through their commitment to globalist agendas, above the genius and traditions of our own people, must be met with fervour and steadfast opposition. Our response is a selfless commitment to this pledge and the nation.
Now we have another poem read this time by Paul Barnes.
I had the pleasure many years ago of meeting Billy through my good friend Harry O'Reilly, who can't be here today, and I'm wearing his scarf to let him know that he's here in spirit. Anyway, when I met Billy and found out the history of the IRB, I was inspired to write this poem called The Turning of the Seal, which Billy used to ask me to recite at the Mansion House every year. Bar this year. Anyway, I get an opportunity. I'm very honored to be able to do it today. The turning of the seal. We are not subjects to a sovereign. We are sovereign to ourselves. And by standing by this nation, we can be self-determined where we dwell. Honor our forebearers' action as a step along the path towards a freedom that's before us, while it's still within our grasp. We may be a small nation, but we can fight above our weight. As individual sovereigns, we instinctively know what's right. With self-determination, we resisted controllers in the past. Now let's renew our inner knowing, establish a freedom that will last. The harp, our national seal, a covenant between God and man, a multi-useful instrument showing the way across sea and land. Learn of its hidden uses. Honour the pride we rightly feel by turning up at the Mansion House for the turning of the seal. A golden fringe around a flag is a symbol of maritime law, and barristers serving bankers, their commitment is to the bar. Leading back to the City of London, a state within a state, this calls for comprehension. Then we must do what's right. Look into the Anglo-Saxon mission to gain insight to their plan. Then the chaos that surrounds us on the sea and on the land will make perfect sense to those who agree with their evil deeds, while they reduce the population of everything that breathes. The common law of the land should be backed by our Constitution, and the fringe around a flag means maritime law and great deception, serving the bar